You probably have a folder or an old box at home that you haven't opened in years. Inside, there are certificates for first places, honors, maybe a diploma with straight A's. You might even have a few trophies gathering dust in the back of a closet. In those graduation photos, you're standing in the center. Everyone, teachers, parents, peers, looks at you as someone who is destined for greatness. You were the one with the limitless potential. But today, when you look in the mirror or glance at your to-do list, you feel a cold, sharp sting of guilt. You work an ordinary job, you live an ordinary life, and every time you see someone's extraordinary success on social media, you feel like you've let down not only them, but that child you used to be. You feel like a failure, not because you aren't doing anything, but because you aren't doing enough. Society has many names for this. They call you burnt out, or they say you failed to reach your potential. But I want to offer you a different perspective, one that is a little kinder and a lot more scientific. It's easy to feel like a failure when your start was so bright. But the truth is, you've likely fallen into what psychologists call the perfectionist's paralysis. You aren't afraid of the work. You are physically capable of doing the tasks. What you are actually afraid of is the confirmation that you might just be average. In school, you were given a map with a perfectly paved road. You were told that if you followed the rules and got the grades, you would always stay ahead. But the real world isn't a kind learning environment with clear rules like a chessboard. It's a wicked environment where the rules change, feedback is delayed, and being smart isn't always enough. To understand why you're stuck, we need to look at your hardware. This isn't just a personality trait or a lack of discipline, it's biology. Your brain was calibrated for easy wins, and now it perceives any sign of struggle as a threat to your very identity. Let's talk about how your brain processes success. Cognitive scientists identify a mechanism we can call the identity dopamine loop. When you were a child and you got an A, without trying, your brain released dopamine. But here's the glitch. The reward wasn't for the effort. It was for the result and the status of being the smart kid. You became addicted to a high level of neurochemical reward for a very low cost. This created a dangerous internal belief. If I am talented, things should be easy. Now, fast forward to your adult life, you face a task where progress is slow, like learning a complex new skill or building a business. The learning curve flattens. The immediate dopamine stops flowing. For a normal person, this is a signal to push harder. For the former gifted kid, this is a red alert. Your brain interprets the lack of easy success as a loss of identity. You think, if this is hard, I must not be special anymore. And if I'm not special, I'm nothing. So, you quit. This isn't laziness. It's a defense mechanism to protect your ego from the reality of being a beginner. Deep inside your brain, there is an area called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, or the AMCC. Think of this as your tenacity muscle. Neuroscientists have found that this area only grows when you do things you don't want to do. It's the seat of grit. The problem for many gifted children is that their AMCC was never forced to work. Because everything came easily, you never had to push through the dip. While other kids were training their AMCC by struggling with basic math or sports. Your muscle was atrophying from lack of use. Now, as an adult, even the smallest resistance or critical email from a boss or a difficult first draft feels overwhelming. Your willpower muscle is simply out of shape. You aren't weak. You're just untrained. So, how do you fix a brain that is terrified of being ordinary? We have to send your AMCC to the gym, but we have to do it without triggering your fight-or-flight response. Your biggest obstacle is your intolerance for mediocrity. Your brain is calibrated to the noise of high achievement, and when you try to do something average, you feel like you're suffocating. Here's my proposal. We are going to start a practice of conscious mediocrity, the 15% push rule. When you start something new and you feel the urge to quit because it's not perfect or easy, don't try to work for another 5 hours. Just do 15% more than the point where you wanted to stop. If you wanted to close your laptop, write one more paragraph. A messy, average, mediocre paragraph. This is the rep. This is how you thicken your AMCC. You are proving to your brain that mediocrity does not kill you. You are learning to survive in the plateau where there is no dopamine, only work. You are not a broken genius, and you aren't a lazy pretender. You are what researchers call an orchid. You have a high-resolution radar for the world, but you require a specific environment to bloom. You cannot be a dandelion that grows in a crack in the sidewalk, and you shouldn't try to be. Stop trying to force yourself to be a machine. Your value isn't in being the best in the room. It's in your ability to see the connections that others miss. But that superpower only works when you have a foundation of action, not just potential. Permit yourself to be a novice. Permit yourself to make mistakes. Over time, the self-sabotage will fade, replaced by a quiet, steady confidence. In the description, I've linked a free potential audit guide to help you turn your scattered interests into a system that doesn't suffocate you. Pick one thing, lift the weight, and I will see you in the next video.